episode of House of Decline. We love music here on House of Decline. Big music fans. What's more, we love trans people. What trans people? Who'd have thought about it? What a paradigm, There's a lot of words about us in the news today. And, in order to feature more of this, I have a platform. Why not feature more trans music from people who I like, from people who I have made friends with on the internet, even though they are very far away. And as a result of this moral incentive, I am pleased to have on the show today the key members. I shouldn't say key members. Maybe I'll start some interband drama there. The key members of Sherry CD-Rom, Pittsburgh-based prog pop synth. There's a lot of stuff you can explain later. Sherry and Claire are here. How are you?
Hello. Doing great. Very happy to be here. Very excited. And it's good to talk to you as we often do.
Yeah. I know you through as many connections are made through the magical wonder of Discord, on a fun server with y'all, where I first heard your music, and it's got this infectious synthy, sort of unabashedly nerdy, but terribly emotional quality to it. Can you talk a little about it?
Yeah, I'll give the basic rundown. So it is a trans pop band. The reason we call it a pop band is just because I don't want to spend minutes explaining what it is and what it's about.
Pop. Yeah,
it's pop. It's music that's made for an audience to listen to. You know what I mean? It's made with an audience in mind. It's very emotional and it's very personal, but it's supposed to be fun. And that's the end of the day. It's fun music.
Fun music. Yeah. No, you've met me, and I like it stands in contrast to mine. No, you should be dour. You should be hateful. All of your music should be about dying. It should be about dying. And so I appreciate your optimism as an antidote to, people like me in the world. Is there something to that? Was that like a conscious decision, like putting like this? I think there's a lot of like doom and gloom out there for us. And was that a conscious decision to make something that's a little less doom and gloom?
Yeah, I think we kind of sat down when the project first started and said to ourselves that we wanted to do something different. This is actually my first music project, but we actually sat down and discussed really what we kind of wanted to do with it. And what we decided on was we wanted to kind of have some trans joy, you know what I mean? Like, so even just some general joy, because everyone talks about, oh my God, the horrors. Like, look around us, the horrors.
The horrors, the killings will continue. Yes.
Yeah, things are bad, but like one of the things we also wanted to like relay was just taking some joy and, breathing a breath of fresh air, and like not having every waking moment have to be this discussion about how bad things are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I always think like, I don't know, in a lot of ways being trans sucks. Like it sucks in a lot of ways. And like there's a lot of pain and anguish and people hate you and all this bullshit. But ultimately we find a lot of joy in it too. And there's something really powerful about that, I think. And that's what we like to focus on.
Yeah. I think so. As we drift more and more into this descent into fascism, and not just fascism, what's looking like it's going to be a wacky recession. Lived through one of those before. We're going to have a wacky recession. Forget fascism. That's going to probably be coloring the next decade or so of political action. And I think, whether this is some sort of conspiratorial plan by the Theolites in order to, cull the underclass, or it's, I don't know, but I think like an old phrase, I don't know, and I'm paraphrasing this idea, but I think you heard the phrase joy is an act of resistance, which as you hear it from like these type of early Trump era, like 2016 Trump era organizing movements, it takes on, and before that, I think that idea has existed long before that. But you repeat something enough and there becomes a triteness to it. Like it becomes like a live, laugh, love quality. But I've really, over the last couple of, years, I've really been taking that idea that they want you to be miserable, right?
Yeah.
Their whole goal is to get you to be fucking unhappy. And while, of course, your material circumstances will dictate a lot of your happiness, and I'm lucky enough to not have bad material circumstances in my life. I'm still, beset with a lot of the horrors, and it does, the idea that I'm, just willing myself to be happy anyway, or to not be happy, but to find joy. I don't know. Is there something like that in there for you?
I think definitely, because one of the things was, I think a lot of people are running off of spite just for survival. And there's something to be said for that. By all means, spite can be a powerful motivator in really bad times for continuing on through. But one of the things that we kind of learned ourselves living through all of the stuff that's been going on and everything like that has been, you have to take a minute and just understand that you're better off taking that time, turning things off for a minute, stepping away from it all, than just wallowing in it and letting yourself drown in it constantly. Because even if you're someone who's sitting there, wanting to do some good in the world, if you're someone who's wanting to say something in the wake of all of this, you still need that decompression time, because if you don't have that decompression, you don't find that joy, you don't find that spark, your overall effectiveness in these times just diminishes rapidly, as does your mental health and everything. I mean, it's a situation of you have to, it's a bombardment. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And you got to take a second to catch your breath sometimes. And that's what we try to do with our music, is just have it be, catch your breath.
Yeah.
Listen to something fun.
Well, I think the part of it that also an aspect to your music, which makes it sort of different in that appraisal than sort of more mainstream versions of that idea, is that yours is tied to very much is regionality. You're based out of Pittsburgh, and your music is very much informed by your interaction with the tight-knit queer community there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Because I think, sorry, you go.
Oh yeah, like it wouldn't exist without the Pittsburgh queer community. Like I was out there making music for like 10 years or something, but this project wouldn't have started without there was a venue that was like a abandoned warehouse around here called Collision, which was like the coolest venue ever. They like every show had some amazing new act that I'd never heard of, and it just every show there blew my mind and just opened me up to the possibility of like, hey, queer art can be anything. A lot of noise shows and stuff like that I was really inspired by, and meeting people in that scene made me want to make something, I don't know, real for the first time.
Yeah.
Like really put my whole self into it, and I couldn't have done it without Claire, obviously.
Yeah. Oh.
Being the best co-writer in the world.
There you go.
And she's really the key difference there. But yeah, the queer community here is so amazing and so inspiring.
I mean, it's that sort of like regionality which ties that like message of joy. I think like joy is this sort of vantage point for community organizing is much better than, say, I'm trying to think of like, not to throw shade at any mainstream artist, but by the virtue of like a certain type of mass communication, that method will be lost because you can't really organize a community around like a vast commercial spectacle like, I don't know, Chapel Rowan. Maybe I'm being uncharitable to Chapel Rowan. But by the fact that it needs to be overcapitalized, it loses that spirit of regionality and thus sort of loses that organizing aspect to it, or that sort of like people's lives are made better through the consistent presence of a group of people that they can rely on,
Yeah, there's definitely something to that.
And one of the things we've tried to do besides just have this really tight knit interaction with the community here. Besides that, is we actually have a nonprofit that we kind of had to put on hiatus for a little bit, but we're trying to bring it back this year. And we just take instruments that people don't want anymore, restore them, and make sure they get to people that can give them some use in the area. And it's been really, really great to do. It's given instruments and the gift of music to a lot of people who normally wouldn't have access to that. I mean, it's really wonderful. We've had instrument drives and things like that. And we've played like a bunch of really great fundraisers in the community and everything for medical care. And I think it's really just something to see in this community, how close it all is and how much people really come together to make care happen and safety happen for all of the members, and just make sure that everyone has what they need.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, it's a Pittsburgh pop band first and foremost. You know what I mean? Like, it is. Like,
Pittsburgh pop, I love it. And now George Romero, Mr. Rogers, the Steelers,
we got the best of the best.
Yeah.
And I was talking to another musician recently, and she was saying, like, just call your music Pittsburgh something. Like, whenever I make a drum and bass track, it's Pittsburgh drum and bass, because it couldn't exist without the community here, and it's really inspired by, the people that we meet and people we work with here. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's a really, really beautiful community.
So, I mean, that's something I had a thought where it's like, COVID obliterated live music, but in its wake, I think you saw something where people were trying to like reform venues again, and we're trying to get music scenes back up. It almost like created this blank slate. Whereas I think you're seeing, and I think because of, even though you're able to promote, your stuff internationally on like Spotify or, any of those platforms or whatever, I'm seeing more and more of that regionality crop up. Like, so you've been in the scene for 10 years. Did you see like a lot of difference pre-COVID and post-COVID to how like people would market their music?
Oh my God. Yeah. It's night and day. It's completely different. Post-COVID, I think everyone wanted to have like, because music scene's always been about connection and just been about like, the people that you meet and the, connections you make and the memories you make with these people.
Yeah.
But I just feel like now it's that like times 100. And, you go to a DIY show because you want to talk to the band afterwards, and you want to like get to know them, and you want to hang out with them, and you want to, and it's, there's a line between like, where is it parasocial and where is it just like a community? And I don't know exactly where that is, but, every show we play, we're making friends with the other bands, and we chat with them, and we message them sometimes, and there's just a real close knitness to it.
Yeah. I mean, even what I do, I find the fact that there's not a machine behind it means that I'm able to collapse the parasocial into social, just the plain social,
Yeah.
I mean, it's something because y'all have enough notoriety that people will hear about you and you'll be like, wow, you heard about us? Or even to the point, have you gotten to the point where someone is like, where someone is like, this album changed my have you had like a really emotional fan experience yet?
We absolutely have.
Yeah.
Babe, do you want to tell the diner story?
Oh my God, the diner story is one of my favorite stories. We were sitting there one day and we just decided to get breakfast. And it was nice enough this past summer that we decided that day we were just going to sit on their balcony, so to speak, or, like porch thing, whatever you call it. It's outside. It's right next to the sidewalk, everything like that.
Veranda.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Sure.
And it ends up that we're sitting there and we're mid conversation, and someone from the car that was waiting at the red light looks and goes, "Oh shit, Sherry CD-Rom. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Is the food there good?" It was
like screaming from down the street. That was really the first time something like that happened to us and made us be like, maybe people like, know who we are a little bit. It's
Yeah.
really weird. But yeah, like you were saying, I don't think it's necessarily parasocial. I think it's
Oh,
because
that's
it's just
awesome.
us, because it's just us doing our thing, and we're so like, you know, open to meeting people and being a part of everything. I think it's just, yeah, I don't think it's parasocial.
Yeah, no. I mean I think it's an admirable way to promote yourself. I mean, especially because like yeah, grounding yourself in a specific place, I think is nice. I mean, that's why I'm always repping Toronto, the Blue Jays,
Mm.
or I mean, it's also something like the character of Pittsburgh is similar to Toronto, where almost feels like a blank slate because there aren't really many preconceived notions about the culture of the city. You're sort of free to make it what you will, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, Toronto does have preconceived notions about it, and it's Drake, so we're desperately looking for a new thing, and and hopefully maybe some trans people can make good on that, you know. Um, I mean, I often feel that. Like, do you feel like a desperate need to make culture in order to evince your humanity, such as to avoid a bloodbath? Do you have that feeling
Good
within you?
question.
Yeah.
Um, um, to invest my humanity. What do you think, babe?
To an extent, I I guess yes.
Well, I listen to your music. It's so cute and it's so like unabashed about its like sentimental qualities.
Hmm.
And even the way that it's orchestrated using very like Sonic the Hedgehoggy like synth lines and that type of instrumentation. There is this sort of bubbly, innocent quality to it that I think is very infectious. And it's like I don't know. For me, there is, and I talk to a lot of the webcomics girlies.
Hmm.
There's been a lot of trans webcomics now, and in some way you come to it from the same logic, which is like, I need to show that I am not bad. How do I show people that I am not bad?
Right,
How do
yeah.
I evince that I am this thing that is not to be taken as a threat? Which
Yeah.
is, I don't know if that's in there for you. Is
No,
it?
that is in there a little bit. You mentioned like kind of like an innocent quality to it, or like maybe there's like a little bit of like childlike kind of quality. And I think that's like, I don't know, there's something to that of like, I think I worry subconsciously that I'm like, a bad person or something like everybody does. But maybe I lean into the sort of cuteness to be like, hey, I'm not so bad.
Um, Do you think? I mean, what I like about Beach Episode is it feels like it's very much you. You and Claire are wives. You are wives of each
We
other.
are wives.
That
You are
is true.
wives.
Yeah.
But so it has this sort of like teenage dream quality. The latest album, the Beach Episode album, and it's
Hmm.
not the Katy Perry one, but it's like. Do you feel like there's some part, but it's obviously about your relationship with each other, that I feel like informs a lot of the music there, or am I wrong about that?
No, you're totally right. You're
Yeah.
totally right.
But it's like do you think there's that thing where because you never really got to so much of romance is dictated by physicality as you sort of learn when you're
Yes.
trans, like your ability to love appropriately very much is like, and if you have the wrong teenage body, you're just not going to get that experience. Do you think there is some like striving for that like young love experience that people necessarily don't get to have sometimes?
There is, and Claire can
Yeah.
speak to this too, but I like um like we both had just gotten out of long-term relationships when we met each other. We didn't have a
Mhm.
lot of like, and we both had really weird childhoods and teenage years, like
Mm-hmm.
all trans people do, I'm sure. But yeah, we're kind of doing like a romance thing in some ways for the first time,
Yeah.
and it's all very fresh.
Yeah, and I think realistically, like even looking at some of the songs on the album, like looking at Desert Island Dream Girl as an example, that's a song about essentially retreating kind of unto each other to find solace and warmth and just that comfort in the world and everything like that. And part of that is just this almost still looking at each other and seeing that like first time just like glow and just wonder about like what the future holds and everything. Because honestly, we don't know what the future holds, but we're excited to find out. And that's kind of really what the album is about. We have songs about, oh, hey, it's raining out. What are we going to do? What does that change? Like, which kind of alludes to the fact that, hey, sometimes times get tough. What do we do in those times? Well, we find ways to enjoy the rain. We find ways to do that kind of stuff. And it alludes to just a little
drink
bit
a lot of rainwater and hallucinate, which is what I always, that's
it's a lot of talking about the things that go on in life and how to make the best of them and find comfort and solace in the people you care about and the things that you enjoy. And that's okay.
Which is what it's all about. It's all about finding joy in really difficult circumstances, because we've been in so many difficult circumstances,
Yeah.
I mean, there is this idea for me too, like, how do you find a paradigm of trans joy that is also like not trite? Because I do feel like a lot of the trans media is very harrowing, to say the least. There's not like a lot of, I'm thinking of like the movie canon we've got recently. We got castration movie, and you had a great film, great picture, TV Glow, great picture, but they're all about how we lose.
It's a lot about trauma. It's about the trauma of being trans and like the things that we go through. And don't get me wrong, there's absolutely a place for those conversations, but
we can also have those conversations in like, I don't know, a way that has a happy ending, because something that happens a lot with songs we're working on, where we'll be deep in the throes of it and Claire will be like, this needs a happy ending. Like, this is kind of harrowing. Like, we have to get somewhere with this. There has to be a message of like, but at the end. And
but how do you do it? It's like threading. How do you do that without it making it seem like, and I think you do it well. I don't know. I think you have to earn it, I think is the key. You
gotta earn it.
I think the problem with a lot of like trans joy stuff is like, usually I see it relegated to like literal like cartoons, like Owl House or some shit like that, which, or Steven Universe, which like a lot of, whereas, a lot of the art that's made for adults, for trans adults, tends to focus on this sort of, the slog of existence, or at least the ones that bubble up to the mainstream in my mind. I think there's more examples, but even like, I'm trying to think of popular, even like someone like Jane Remover. It's harsh and it's, heavy. It's lovely music. But it's like, and I can't tell how much of that is that just a trans thing, or is that just, our times, that's why the Zoomers love Deftones so much, because these times are dark and it calls for heavy ambient atmospheric music.
Yeah. And I think it's a lot of the ways that trauma gets processed in the music too, because in a lot of ways there's a focus of discussing that trauma in a lot of other media as how traumatic it was and then a resolution on it. Whereas when we talk about that trauma, we really try to have it be, yes, it was traumatic, but there were good times that we found during those times. And talking about those and having that be the progression and how we end up finding happiness. And I think that's really key to the kind of music we want to write, is that, yes, we do broach some dark places at times. And we start from these like dark places of just, hey, these things suck. A great example of it is Kaiju off the album. Kaiju is an angry song about how we just kind of lost it with how bad everything was getting for a little bit. But we present it in a way that it's like a monster movie film. And you're just knocking down buildings. This sucks. It's stupid. I'm so sick of this stuff. anyway, we're just gonna just let it all out, talk about it, and just let loose a little bit and just kind of vent a little bit and just let it all out. And that's okay. You know what I
And that's
mean?
part of it too, sometimes,
Yeah.
is yeah, you got to let it out. But there's an old lyric I wrote going off of what you said earlier, um, years ago that got stuck in my head. It's like my favorite one I ever wrote, which was, "Even in my darkest days, there are little hints of light." And I always liked that lyric, even though I didn't like a lot of my music back then. And I think about that all the time. I think we've referenced that in a newer song. Um, yeah, because there's moments of joy, even in the shittiest circumstances. Like, I was homeless for a while, and like it's very traumatic. I have a lot of nightmares about it, and it's like awful and like affected me in all these terrible ways. But like, there's still good memories from back then, which is kind of crazy to say, but there were times where it's like, oh, this is great. I'm having fun. You know what I mean? I'm with my
Yeah.
friends. I'm getting drunk on a parking garage roof, looking out over the city,
Yeah.
Like
I
there
mean,
there are
yeah.
there are moments of joy in everything, and you can find them, but I think it's like you said, you got to earn it.
Yeah. I mean, there's this, it becomes like this is, you ever find joy out of spite, to spite the
Yeah.
universe, to spite God. I find joy anyway. God has given me the joy Job treatment. And so
Hmm.
now I will, and I will be happy for it. I mean, that's why I love Job, because it's like what's the lesson is like, yeah, anything could happen to you. God is still great. I'm not religious, but God in this circumstance says that you just you experience one life, and you can arbitrarily find value in certain events that occur within
Yeah.
it. And I mean, that's what art is all about. I call it like the art space, or like the subconscious space. When you sort of enter the thing, it's my favorite 4chan green text ever. Do you know this 4chan green text where it was like, be 3 years old, touch a couch, think, I will remember this moment. Still do,
Yeah,
you know?
still do. Yeah.
And that's what art is. Art
Yeah.
is the conscious decision to value something mundane and take it to the level of, this intense thought and pageantry in order to express it. And I think that's within, that whatever you're doing. My music is not like that. My music is much more. I'll tell you, my favorite lyric that I ever wrote is, "How do you know what evil lives in the darkness, knowing that the evil could be you?" Which is this intense fixation on my own moral failings. No, but yeah. So 10 years in tell me your favorite concert at Collision that you ever saw.
Oh God. I saw this non-binary singer techno artist. Probably right when I was starting to date Claire. You might have been there. Might have been one of our first dates. Um, and she was doing all kinds of goofy stuff, like, doing like some kind of stripping like within it, doing some like performance art within it, doing
Some dildo stuff, yeah.
some dildo stuff, just like, all just doing all kinds of crazy
I
fun
used to
stuff all
drum
over the
with some
place.
dildos. That's a good move. I got the idea from
Yeah,
John Fishman from Fish, who would drum with dildos.
it's a great move.
It's a
And
great move.
she had a um like a projector screen behind her with like a CGI dancer that was like mapped to her movement. Do you
Oh,
remember this,
that's
babe?
fun. Yeah.
I do remember.
That
This was
was
a long time ago.
it was a long time ago, years ago, but God, just seeing that, and it was just such a wild performance of just doing just having so much fun up there and doing so much goofy stuff. And then afterwards, we're back like, by the bathrooms or something. And this person's like, we're just chatting, and I'm like, oh, I play here, I play music. And she's like, oh, really? That's so cool. What do you play? And was like really enthused by it. And I was like, I don't know. I'm just, and this is like before Sherry CD-Rom. I was like, oh, I don't know. I just like play piano and sing. I do like experimental piano music. And she's like, wow, like that's so cool. Like experimental piano music. I got to hear that. And it's just like, wow, this is, I don't know. There was just the magic little moment of like, people give a shit when you give a shit, you know?
Yeah.
And because like, I always had felt so self-conscious about my music up until that point. I was like, I don't want to tell people I'm a musician. That's like, I want to
Yeah.
just like do it and just like put it out there and be done. But I don't know. The community there just really helped me like make it part of my identity, part of who I am. So that was just very
Um,
memorable for me.
do you all meet by like the Mac Miller Memorial statue and hang out? Is there like a big Mac Miller? He's from Pittsburgh, right?
He is from Pittsburgh. There's a memorial. They named a park after him.
That's
Sort of. Sort of.
That's not funny. Sad about it. I don't know why I have to put it like that. Um, who are what would you say are your biggest influences in? Because I think one time I heard you got some very Baroque compositions in there. I once compared you to Cahid and Cambria, to which you took the light in that.
Oh, I lost
We
that
did take the
reference.
light.
I lost that one. That was great, crazy. I was freaking out when I heard that. Another friend was like, "Oh, you sound like this song sounds like Dream Theater," and I went, "Oh."
No,
I was
yeah.
like,
If Dream Theater was synthpop, I guess.
I was like, that's a really weird
gay.
comparison. I don't know if I agree with it, but thank you.
It's big and loud and gay. Yeah.
It's big and loud and gay, and it's music
true.
that I would describe as, like when you have a big note, you can raise your arm to it. You're raising your arm as you're singing the.
Oh yeah. There's a little bit of like theatricality, but I try not to go too hard with like, I don't know, like I think there's a lot of like, what's the word for it? Like not theater pop, but like, you know what I'm talking about? Where it's like very inspired by like,
very like in the vein of like a Freddie Mercury style vocal delivery, where it's
like almost a little campy. Like
Yeah.
I like as cute and fun as we're trying to be. I don't think we ever really lean into camp. I think we're very earnest.
It's not, I would say it's not somehow not campy by virtue of how like it's just you. There's like a direct line and you're not really putting on airs about yourself either, which is refreshing. There's no character. It is it's a one-to-one, knowing you from the old Discord. I could say it's a pretty one-to-one your personality.
Yeah.
Which is nice,
Or like Claire was saying with Kaiju being like a monster movie. I think it's the difference between like if you're making a monster movie and you like know that monster movies are stupid versus like I'm gonna make a really good monster movie and it's gonna have all the trappings, but it's gonna be a monster movie. You know what I mean? I think we're the latter. I think we're really doing something earnest about it. And I'm a very earnest person. Like I'm not really capable of like, being a character in some ways.
Faker, yeah.
And I think part of that comes from how harshly we go through the editing process too. Because I'll be honest with you, we've gone through edits and Sherry has said, "Oh, I have a first draft of what I have on this song so far," and we've sat there and said, "We got to cut entire sections. We got to redo these sections and everything like that," because there are sections where it's like, okay, I think we could do something deeper here. We could do something better. We could wear hearts on our sleeve a bit more, and really.
Claire will tear my rough drafts or like my ideas sometimes apart, and for the better always. Because sometimes I'm doing something that just doesn't work, and I need to be told like this doesn't work, or vice versa. Sometimes I'm having an idea where I think it's dog water, and she's like, there's really something here.
Yeah. No, see, I don't do that. I think everyone else's input is stupid. I only like my own input. That's why I'm not good at D&D. It's like, what's you telling? Give me this story. I would tell it better. Too narcissistic for collaboration. No. I think that's like also inherent to the music. Like you have a lot of speak to your band member. Who are your other band members? Where did you meet these folk?
There's me, there's Claire, and there's CD-Rom, who is a computer generated entity.
Oh,
And that's it.
Go. Oh, that's it. Usually for when you play a live show, you'll have some folks from around though. You know?
We'll have folks from around sometimes. But really mostly it's like Claire doing like the DJ and running the backing tracks and like doing some like live mixing stuff. And then me playing guitar and piano, singing, and her singing too. But yeah, like we have a lot of features on it and stuff like that. We've worked with a lot of people, but we try to keep it core. Just like we actually added other members at one point and then decided like we love working with people, but ultimately like there's something really magical about just us, the married couple, doing it together and exploring each other, you know?
It requires an intimacy. I think that's what's also nice about it. I think there's I think the fact that, I feel like everything. I'm so Bill Watersonian, I'm so disillusioned with any sort of big money spending scenario that I've become very aware of like, just conspicuous consumption within the queer community and how we live under the thumb of capitalism and yet we reproduce it anyway, in the most basic format of that idea. It's the blahai, right? Here's this stupid fucking plushie you can buy at IKEA, right? And this has become a cultural, which is fine. I don't care. The shark is fine. I think it's
the shark is great.
Right now. The shark is fine, but it's not even a meme anymore. That's like 4 years ago. But still, that's like an example. You can all go out and buy a thing, and that shows you're in affiliation with a thing. But in doing so, you end up sort of contributing to the same culture that will kill you. That will, by its convenience, will push you away. And so I find like a difficulty within a lot of pop music, which seems to be very consumption based. I mean, you've heard me rant psychotically about Charlie XCX Brat before, right?
Oh yeah. I don't know about psychotically, but I've heard your take.
Yeah, but to me, I mean, I don't know. Do you consider that at all when you're writing this music, like how to do something quote unquote authentic, or like the idea of conspicuous consumption? Does that ever or creating a paradigm against that? Does that ever enter your head?
As far as like finding authenticity, I don't think it's ever, I think there is like a conscious effort you have to make in order to be authentic, which is weird and kind of, ironic or something or contradictory. But yeah, in order to really be authentic, you have to put yourself in an uncomfortable position sometimes. You have to dig deep down into yourself, to the parts that you're not happy with or understand well or comfortable with, and really drag them out.
Yeah. Or the parts that are super gay.
Or the parts that are super gay.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes it tough, is because like human nature, and hell, even being trans to an extent too. I mean, by nature, we kind of sat there for a lot of our lives trying to not let people know these things and like stay really guarded and everything like that, when many of us were closeted for a while. So to sit there and now say that we're taking all of these moments in our lives, including things in our past, and wearing them on our sleeve and just bearing all. I mean, off of first album, we have Love Me Hard, which is literally a song about how like different the physicality of like being T for T is for just love, sex,
Love
everything.
Me Hard. Okay.
Yeah.
From the title, I would have assumed it's about hard fucking, but there's something deeper to it.
I mean, it's not about hard fucking.
It's not about it. There's still a little hard fucking in it. There's still a little.
Medium fucking.
There's medium fucking in it. No, that's
there's a rigorously paced. No, I'm just kidding.
There you go. Like the Adam Sandler song, at a medium pace. I think Tell me. I'm sorry, I interrupted. Tell me more about your sweet, thoughtful observation.
But like, I think we really do have to almost intentionally pull from those places sometimes, because we really tend to try and guard a little bit, and we've done that for most of our lives, that it takes almost a conscious effort to sit there and say, no, we have to dig deep. Like, there have been times where, there are lines that don't work, and it just we'll sit there and say, this doesn't work, this seems like phoned in, this seems like, it's barely scratching that surface, and we could do something more with this, you know what I mean? And
yeah, I mean, that feels, I was thinking, speaking to the mysterious aspects of femininity, because it's like, I mean, trans is a fucking mind fuck, because it's like,
It is.
It's so qualitative. It's so inherently qualitative, and people will go mad trying to put numbers to it, hence Blanchard, hence, trans medicalism, and it's sort of like, it's a series of traits. What we consciously understand to be the category of woman, I feel that I am in that category. I know there's this inherent thing in me that belongs in that category. Is that a set of behaviors? I mean, at least one of them, I knew that whatever maleness exists, like, were you ever in a male social group and there's that constant need to put up that front of like non-vulnerability, or like this desperate detachment or irony that I found exhausting, constantly? Did you ever find yourself in that situation?
I work blue collar work, you know what I mean? Like, by nature of the beast, it is that bro conversation that, like, hey, we're, oh, hey, do you want to head to like the bar and get wasted and pick up chicks type thing? And like, oh, I remember in college it was, oh, hey, do you want to join us? We think we're going to get a stripper and have the stripper come to the dorm because there's no rule against it, it turns out, and everything like that. And that was a big thing that happened. Like, a bunch of my friends ended up having like a rule written in the rules afterwards about it. Like, these were all my friends, and I didn't join it because I was like, I don't know if that's for me.
Not for me, fellas.
Yeah,
makes me a little like a no, thank you.
And there was like this moment that they had of like, why isn't it for you? And I was like, I don't have time for that question.
Yeah, right, I can't like participate in this. It makes me slightly uncomfortable.
Yeah. But like you're saying, there's like the ironic detachment too of maleness. That was such a thing for me.
Yeah.
And like, like I was saying with my old music, like I never wanted to be like now, if someone asks me about music, I'm like, I make music. I love music. I make music with my wife. It's so cool. I care about it so much. Yeah. But back then it was just like, oh yeah, I write some songs. I don't know. It's just like, it's whatever. It's online. You know what I mean? And it's just like, I didn't want to get too excited about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was a huge trap for me. It was just like this ironic detachment from everything.
Yeah,
I hated it. I hated it.
Huge front for so long on and that detachment on everything. You couldn't, it felt like I couldn't be passionate about anything without people being weird about it. If I wasn't fully into the same things that they were, it was like, why aren't you? Like, there was this very like specific set of like things that I was allowed to be into. Like, I could be really gung-ho about sports, you know what I mean? And I was like, sports are fine. I'll watch football. I'll watch a football game. I'll watch a baseball game. You ask me the players' names? Don't know. But like,
yeah,
I know enough about the rules to get by, have a good time, everything like that. But, I remember I used to have a much more intrinsic knowledge of football because it was really easy to just talk shop a little bit. Because you pick a team.
Yeah.
You sit there and you have this team. And then you take cues from other people about how this team performs. And then based off the score, you just say, wow, the Packers secondary really sucks, huh? And everyone goes, yeah, I know, right?
Fuck yeah.
I'm like, oh,
that's one of the only things you're allowed to like.
That's a joke. That's a joke in the Graham Lydian IT crowd. Oh, that was a ludicrous display right there. That was
display last night.
Here's the thing about Graham Lydian. I respect a workman-like sitcom writer, which is an evil guy, a bad guy.
Oh but my God, yeah.
I mean, what's sad is that, it's like the phenomena where you have people that were good at something and then they became TERFs and then it's all they do now. They don't do the thing that they once did.
A shame.
You know? I never see someone who's like just casually a TERF, like a TERF on the side.
But no one's a TERF on the side.
To what we were talking about before, though, where it's like, hey, you need like a minute to detach from like what you're doing and find some joy, so you don't drown in it. And they just
they're drowning in it.
They drowned in it. That's essentially what happened. They didn't find any joy. That's all.
There's a term for that called lost in the sauce.
Yeah. Oh my God. We deal with a lot of that. I don't want to get off on like a 4trans thing, the 4chan trans, the ladies.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think that phenomena exists. What are the numbers? What percentage of trans people do you think subscribe to that online culture? Do you think more trans people are online or fewer than we think?
I think there's way more trans people in general that we think, but as far as like people who are like into like fringe kind of weird little subcultures, I think it's so small, and like in real life you just don't meet them. It's same is true of like TERFs, to be honest. That's what I genuinely think is like, oh, like online there's all these like transphobic like cis lesbians, you know what I mean? They're always like, oh yeah, get out of women's spaces. But then you go in real life and you'll like go to a lesbian bar and like everyone there is chill with trans people.
Oh, yeah, no.
And like not a single person is a TERF, and you're like, where are these TERFs?
They're online. They're
only online. Like rooms, they don't hang out.
They're anywhere. Not going to lesbian bars. They're not meeting like, hey, I'm Sandy. Do you like the fucking Chiefs are sucking shit this year?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is just like online only. I don't know. Maybe that's just like my personal bias, or maybe that's what I tell myself to feel better or something. But like, no, honestly, like there's just, I don't think that they really exist in real life.
They do, but no one's like they are online. Online, do you ever watch Saturday Night Fever?
Mm-hmm.
When like Travolta's at and like the dance floor parts for Travolta, I feel like that's some people when they go on their online doom girl posting persona, that's the show for them. It's like, which I get, everybody has their Saturday Night Fever. Everybody has the thing they do that makes them feel like that they're getting that attention on their own terms.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's toxic though.
Can be.
I don't know. Do you ever feel yourself getting to a point like navigating online stuff where you felt suffocated? Because you sort of by the nature of the beast, you have to promote yourself through social media. Do you find yourself getting into shit?
Personally, it's weird because I don't have as big of a platform on Blue Sky specifically and like that sort of thing. Mostly my platform's on like Instagram, TikTok.
Yeah.
And there's some weirdos on TikTok. But once you get on the right side of the algorithm, you don't really get a lot of hate, a lot of weirdness.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but babe, you get some weirdness, I think, online.
Yeah. I end up dealing with a bit more weirdness.
So you're on Blue Sky where everyone is uncharitable, but like they're liberals. So it's even more infuriating, somehow. The Nazis at least are inhuman. These are people that should know better, but are just, a certain type of ignorant.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. I just get these like weird comments where I very much get those comments where it's like I'm not even talking about the topic, and then someone will come in with like, "Oh yeah, here's my take on a completely unrelated subject," and it's like, "All right, cool. Thanks. I think I've also had people just like come in and just like take a post that's like just me making a dumb joke and be like, oh, let me tell you all about my fantasies. Also, do you want to hang out sometime? And it's like, no, I have a wife. Yeah. Go away.
No, well, you're in sort of that like half state where I've long since relinquished the idea that online I'm an idea. I'm not me. I'm like, I'm the House of Decline, the effigy. And that's what people are attacking or, assigning their beliefs to or putting their, moral value into. But there was sort of like a calculation when it came to that. The idea that what do people want out of an online persona?
Do you see yourself as sort of playing a character online? Like, do you have
not
a
really.
persona, or are you very much just
I think that was a mistake, though. I think I should have. I think I should have done a better job at bifurcating who I am. But I'm rolling because that's the problem when your brand is authentic, which is a horrible thing to say, which is the worst phrase of all time. But more or less, the thing that I've positioned myself as is like, I don't want to lie to people. I don't want to oversell people on stuff. I mean, I think that's like, I love your guys' approach to merch too, because your approach to merch feels so like loving and specific and not really designed to churn profit, but more designed to give people like, can you talk about that?
Yeah. We're really not making money off of the merch. It's just like, we want to give people a listening experience that's fun and memorable. Like we do the Game Boy cartridges, we do the DS cartridges.
Yeah, you put the music tapes on the fucking DS cartridges. Yeah. That's fun. It's
fun, Yeah. And people always ask like, oh, why do you do that? What is that about? And it's just like, it's just because it's fun. It's because it's cool.
Because we can.
It's goofy. Yeah, the people that listen to your music are likely to have a DS.
So, also very true. Yeah.
Might as well make it for them.
Yeah, but then it's like, it's the listening experience is special. You get something that took us a lot of effort to make, and you put it on your system and you listen to it in a special way. And it's very memorable. It's cool,
Yeah.
I want to make it a special experience, not just clicking on Spotify, listen to it and go, oh, that's good, and move on.
Yeah.
Which is fine, whatever. But
we kind of make sure that whatever we charge essentially either recoups the cost of the actual merch itself, or it's directly going into cost to just keep doing music in general, whether it's fuel, stuff for touring and everything like that. Because we do occasionally do mini tours. We really do try to do that.
Get around to the Midwest. Get around to all the Midwestern rat girls. The possum girls.
Trying to go to Chicago in the spring. We're playing in New York next month, I think.
Yeah.
And we're getting passports, so hopefully we can play in Toronto pretty soon.
That'd be awesome.
There you go.
And then honestly replacing instruments, because that has been one of the biggest challenges, because love Sherry to death. She also was running instruments that were like 10 to 15 years old that barely worked for a long time. And the fact that some of the music that was being made is incredible, considering some of the stuff. The actual mixer that you were running for a while looked like a ham radio. When we first, I'm serious. This thing was bigger than an old.
And it only worked. The headphone output only worked in the left ear. Like, I'm very much. I'm less like that now, but I used to be like incredibly like, I will not spend money. I will not buy anything, and I've gotten over that a lot, and it's because of, trauma and money trauma and all this stuff. But it's like, if it technically works, I'm not going to get rid of it. I'm going to just keep using it forever. But I've gotten better at that. But like my guitar that I was using to record all the guitar parts on the first album, there's like 2 dead frets on it. So what I would do is I would play if the line required that note, I would just play the note under it and then go into auto tune and auto tune the note a half
Sure,
step
you
up.
could just do that. It's fine.
And I was like, I'll just auto tune it half step up every time.
Or,
It's no big deal.
you should be, no, it's Turkish guitar. It's Turkish guitar, actually. It's microtone. It's very,
It's a microtone.
Don't worry about it. We're like the master musicians of Jajuka over here,
But Claire eventually got me to that point of like, hey, I gotta get better stuff here.
Yeah.
And the craziest part is we just are getting to the point where we're replacing that guitar now.
Yeah. We recorded most of the second album with it too.
Yeah.
It's fine. I mean, that's what makes it, there, not to wax proletarian, but no, I think there is a nobility in that of not wanting to. I mean, it's part of that sentimentality. I think it's the fact that you invest a lot of love into these objects, even these broken objects. How like me, this guitar, this with dead frets, the parts of it,
The only things we've really truly had to replace was at one point we had a laptop involved in our setup. And for some reason, we checked battery, we checked a million other things. Suddenly, all of a sudden, this particular laptop just would skip all the time when playing back audio. We
got a new laptop and it still kept doing it. We were like, you know what? Fuck having a laptop in your music setup. Like, I get a lot of people need them for what they do. We were like, if there's any way for us to not use a goddamn laptop, we're going to do it. So we researched and found some gear that works for us. But
we found a really cool, like, physical version of what we were doing, where essentially we could load the tracks and it would put them in each of the instances and everything. And you loaded it up on an SD card and you could manipulate it through that way. And that's essentially the solution we had to find. But it got so bad. It was really funny because we finally said we had to change it. And the day we realized we had to change it was the day that we played a local Pride festival. And it was also the day that Sherry proposed to me, but it was also 107 degrees out. She proposed to me on stage. It was 107 degrees out. We were sweating buckets.
I mean, just soaking wet. You can see in the pictures of the proposal, we look like we were just under like a water park dump bucket. And it was really gross.
The laptop is freaking out because not only was it having issues before, it is now just straight up overheating. This thing is skipping like crazy. If you aren't, it was one of those situations where, to a lot of people, it just sounded like there was something weird to it, but they couldn't put their finger on it. To all of our music friends, they were like, "Oh no!" They were like, "That's you. You have some problems.
That is a dying machine."
Yeah,
why kill me?
So we ended up having to make replacements there, and finally, your keyboard was just so bad that we ended up having to replace that too.
I had that thing for literally 12 years, probably.
And it also weighed like 50 pounds.
So heavy.
It was ancient. But no, we did some equipment replacements, but usually we try to do that with our merch. It's just make sure that, it's fair so that people can enjoy our content, and we really want people to enjoy our content and have it be accessible to people. So it's pretty much cost of materials and a little bit towards what we have for band funds towards servicing equipment and keeping moving on stuff. That's pretty much it. So
yeah. What do you think that is? I feel like a lot of trans people I know are like natural archivists, where there's like this preservational aspect, even in like the repairing instruments thing you have, there's like this sense of like objects have a special integrity. I mean, that's to me, that's like one of the true sins of capitalism, is that it gets you to ignore craft, and it gets you to ignore if something is made really beautifully, and it gets you to forget that you have to maintain those things, And I think that stubborn desire to use something until it completely falls apart, I don't know, or even if it does, to like sort of repair it, and for like the just even the equipment stuff to be like a last resort thing that you only fund by in doing so a preservational type of audio distribution. You know, who uses Game Boy? What use is there for Game Boy cartridges anymore? I have a use for that.
I have a use, yeah.
Yeah,
and I think we kind of followed that too, because I talked briefly a second ago about the guitar. That wasn't paid for with band funds. I did that personally with a few other friends of ours as a big birthday gift for Sherry. And even when we did this guitar, this wasn't a situation of we went to like a store and picked one out. Like, this was custom built. Like, there were parts and there was a lot of love put into it. It was all of our friends coming together and building this and making this happen for a cost point that made sense, that wasn't breaking the bank, because we don't want to support, like $3,000 instruments when, whatever. And don't get me wrong, that's not to say I don't have a deep respect for the craft of making instruments, but it's that corporate aspect. You know what I mean? It's the same philosophy.
But that's what makes it special, It's just a bunch of parts that all our friends put together.
Yeah, and
like you were saying, that objects have special integrity. I think I really do. I really believe that.
Mm.
I mean, I often catch not that there's anything wrong with having like a Funko Pop or nothing like that, but
oh yeah, sure.
I find myself, I had like a Lego crisis. Did I ever tell you about my Lego crisis?
I don't think so.
No.
I mean, so I had a job at one point where I was making pretty consistent money. And, what do you do when you've sort of settled into that life and you're not doing a project? Well, you buy stuff, right? And sort of the stuff that I would buy compulsively is Lego. And then I looked around my apartment one day and I realized I had bought the Stranger Things Lego. This was like, because it was mechanically interesting. And this was my like fentanyl, like in the New Jersey Turnpike moment, like ODing and like down in the ditch, and some bog water. I had bought the fucking Stranger Things Lego. Oh my God. And I suddenly became very aware of all of these, like, and I still got some Legos up. I got the Simpsons house and shit like that. But, I took some of that. I became so disgusted with myself, this like, why did I buy this? Do I like this? I mean, I would do it with video games too, like video games that I would never play. And it's like, why did I buy this? Just to have this, I don't know. Did you ever catch yourself doing that? Or like, did you, or, I mean, for some people, that's not even a behavior they want to curb. They don't see a problem with it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it definitely was the opposite. Like I said, of like I never want to buy anything, which is also just as destructive. Like, yes, there's a magic to like, squeezing the art and the life out of an object and like making an object special and keeping it for a long time. But it can be destructive to just like never ever spend money. And Claire helped me a lot with that.
I have the constant scarcity mentality.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like, I'm 30 years old. I have a place to live. I have a job. Like, I'm doing fine. Like, I'm okay. You know what I mean? I have enough to eat. I'm fine. And it takes you so long to convince yourself that like everything is okay. You don't need to be in panic mode all the time once you've been through. Yeah. That's PTSD, I guess.
Well, you said you're homeless for a while there, so
yeah.
I mean, how much does that inform the music? Like memories of that?
Oh, absolutely. Like so much. Yeah, you gotta draw from past trauma. And like there's a lot of past trauma with trans stuff, a lot of past trauma with past living situation and stuff. There's a lot of past trauma with bad relationships. And you gotta dig that stuff up to I don't know, reach some new conclusions about yourself, and you're always learning more from yourself, but it can't all just be internal either.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, that's the word for it. I think it's all the process. If it's not internal, it's that process of externalization. I mean, the thing I always said is like, when you have those things in your head, it's bumping around like a DVD screensaver, and those negative thoughts are bumping around. But if you open your mouth a little, you get to let out that little DVD screensaver of hatred and, project it onto other people. And then other people might be like, hey, I recognize that. I don't feel so alone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Externalization, I guess. Huh?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's part of why I, talk on the internet too. There's this almost confessional quality to it where you're a disembodied voice and you're with other people. So there's this almost thing where even though you are like we're performing right now, mm-hmm. Are we ourselves right now? Are we being ourselves? No, of course not, because we're monitored and that alters our behavior. But we're trying to be. And that's always, we talk about the detached irony of male relationships, but that just gets projected in the patriarchy. It's like the detachment of everything, even like this interview. And I know you in real life, I talk more unguardedly to you when we're not, we don't have this air of performance going on. But I always find it interesting, the ongoing experiment of, everything in this world gears you towards accepting that authenticity can't be a thing that you can convey. Everything is BetterHelp. Everything is just a vehicle towards some sort of nefarious corporate scheme at the heart of it. And I don't know. I think you gotta find ways to constructively resist that. I think there's ways to. I mean, selling out is an oversimplification, but honestly, that's what it is. I think everyone got too comfortable with it because they force you to do it because we live with less than the previous generation, right? We don't have the option of being a slacker like Gen X, but still, I think that sort of embrasure of like, do whatever you can, get that bag, it's, I don't know. Do you feel yourself trying to fight against that mentality?
Oh, I think it's tough because to an extent, I think the definition of let's get that bag these days has been warped so much from let's get that bag as in, let's go out, let's party, let's whatever, to, hey, let's live comfortably.
Yeah, let's be able to pay rent. Mode.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I'm working immensely right now, like insane hours. But where it's paying bills, we're for the first time in a while really socking some money away towards savings and everything like that, and getting stuff in reserve in case things go wrong, and being able to do some good things for.
But I'm not talking about. I mean, I understand you feel guilty about just having a decent, not guilty. But I'm talking about like hustle mentality, more stuff, not just like, you exist in capitalism, you have some sort of job, but I'm talking more about that. Like, would there ever be an ad for BetterHelp? Could you do a YouTube with a BetterHelp ad, or where? I mean, that's the thing. You're just by virtue of being on any platform like Twitter or Spotify, you're always capitulating to some sort of corporate overlord. But everyone draws the line. Like, did you ever have a situation where you had to like draw a line of what you wouldn't do?
One of our favorite situations was, and it was one of my favorite moments with Sherry here. We were walking through a Target years ago. It was early on in our relationship. A bunch of other stores were closed and everything like that. Like, and we were grabbing some needed supplies.
I don't know where this is going. I don't remember this story.
I forget what we were grabbing. It was late at night and a couple other places were closed. And so we end up running there and they are playing music, of course, over the PA, the speaker and everything like that. And we're sitting there and we are hating it, despising it. And
what was it? High hopes for a living. Was it something like that?
It was something crazy like that. But I remember, Sherry, you looked over at me and said, if our music ever plays in the middle of a Target, I'm done. I can't do it anymore. Like
I'm killing myself. That's it.
Yeah.
No. Like,
there you go.
I do remember that.
Like,
yeah,
we just decided.
That's how I know. Like, I'm done. That would just ruin it for me. That would ruin it for me.
We decided that the metric was like if we're on like an Apple commercial or like something like that, and like there was a record label that like did all this stupid shit. Done. And even then, like obviously, like we really want to look into it, but the problem is like how many like musicians and artists have been like completely screwed over by a record label, not realizing that their music isn't really theirs anymore and everything like that. So like,
yeah.
And for like a crap deal too. And that's been a huge controversy in even just the overarching music industry is predatory, music contracts. But
yeah,
we kind of said if like anyone took our music and put it on like a Target just PA system, that would be it for us. Like we can't do it. Like if we're playing,
that would ruin it.
Like
which actually, to be fair, a couple of people have been like, "Hey, I'm a barista and I added your song to the playlist at work," and I'm like, "Hell yeah, that's awesome!"
Okay, but that's awesome. Like a barista's like
Target is music designed to get you to like buy stuff, not music designed to
like. Have you ever heard a song?
There.
You ever heard a song over the PA at Target and been like, "Wow, that's really insightful"?
I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of songs are. I think like. Hey, God, have you ever had like a really bad like pop music moment where just there are certain songs which I remember I had experienced like a very traumatic death, and then like 2 days later, I'm in the grocery store and I'm like, just I'm frail, and on comes. Dun, 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 walking on sunshine, and I'm like, I'm fucking hyperventilating. I'm like,
you gotta stop this song. I can't do this.
I'm dying, in the fetal position on the floor,
Oh yeah.
And I don't know. There is like, I don't think someone could have that type of nerve. There's not that type of immense triteness to you've managed to evade that, I could say.
I hope so. I hope we continue to, because I never want someone to hear it and be like, this is, I could see this in the background somewhere just fading in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I could see this in an Apple commercial with people silhouettes dancing, I'm good.
There you go. I like that walkie-talkie bands. That song is pretty good. No, I mean, that is an imperative for me. It's something that I liked about experimental music and free jazz was the fact that it just by its very nature, you can't really use it to sell stuff. Like no one is put into, if you started like pumping in like the really rough Sun Ra into like a Target, I don't think people would be like, we should stay here and look at the jumpers. We should
They're not playing Love Me Hard on the Target PA system, which is good for us.
No, yeah. But there is that sense of like music that even in the fantastical, I call it music that tethers you to reality, even though it's music, because of course all art inhabits this sort of fantasy world, but this sort of music that instead of selling you something that is to be consumed and drives you into a fit of consumption, does the opposite. Music that, makes you not want to consume, not by virtue of like scarcity mentality, but by virtue of evaluating, what you actually want, making better decisions with what you want than being driven by some sort of external force to buy something you don't really need.
Yeah. And there's like, I don't know, like you were saying with like, yeah, they're not pumping experimental music into Target. Like I like to think that we have just enough of that little sprinkle of experimentalness to keep it from being trite, like you said.
Yeah.
Like I'm really, really inspired by harsh noise and stuff like that. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
love it. And I love going to noise shows. But I don't think I could ever do it. I think I'm just too like songwriter brained to
Oh,
do like
yeah.
a noise set. I don't know. I have to think of it as like this is the verse.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know what I mean?
no, yeah, no. I mean, I just like, I think you have the same thing as me, where it's just like putting little harmonic chord progressions together like a little puzzle. I like that. It's like,
Hmm.
how am I going to resolve this little cadence right here? It's like a little
Yeah.
puzzle. How am I going to do it in a relatively novel way that I've already resolved it this way? Maybe I can do it different. Yeah, that aspect
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah. Because I got music theory brain. I love music theory,
Oh, yeah, it's the
and
best.
it's hard for me to step away from that completely. Someday I'll probably do a noise set, but I don't know. I'm very inspired by it just because it's like, I love the expression of it. I love that it's these crazy noises, but it's like it's so intentional,
Yeah,
Like there's every little movement is intentional, and it's just a very fascinating experience to me to watch somebody perform noise and be like, where are they going to go next? Because that's the point of listening to music, right?
yeah,
Is trying to guess where they're going to go next and what the next note's going to be.
yeah,
And in that
I,
case, it's just it's like a whole nother dimension to it.
I think
yeah,
that's what's crazy about harsh noise too, is just how crazy they get with some of it. Like, I still remember the last day that Collision existed, very last day, one final big blowout party, type thing. And it was really funny because they were serving food for, like, this was a big party. Like, it was a shutdown, everything like that. And they served food.
yeah,
And one of the acts was the person who was making the food. They took a bunch of contact mics, put it up to essentially this skillet, and essentially were manipulating the sounds in the contact mics and taking snippets of it to make a harsh noise set. And it was one of the craziest things I've ever heard. And they're just making food using spatula, skillet, and just sitting over there messing with some dials and everything like that. It was awesome. And, I
That
think
was a great, yeah.
I think it's really cool what people do with harsh noise in general. Like, it's just really inventive and really creative. It's like Sherry said, we take a lot of inspiration from kind of pulling from some of those weird spaces and everything like that and doing something cool.
Yeah, it inspires the hell out of me just seeing what people can do because I think you forget sometimes just how much free will you have, like as an artist. You know what I mean?
How much free will we have in general, which is crazy because you can just
Yeah.
kind of
yeah. You
like,
can do
Like you can
anything.
make whatever the
You can
hell
do
you
whatever
want.
the fuck you want. Yeah.
And like if you have even
uh,
a small platform, you can make whatever the hell you want and somebody's gonna really dig it,
Yeah.
you know? There's something really special about that, of just knowing that you can make whatever you feel like making,
Hmm. People
I think
feel
we forget.
stifled in that.
Yeah.
Um, I think because it's like people feel that in order to make something, it has to be monetizable.
Yeah, which absolutely not. Do not worry about that. Do not worry
Yeah.
about that, please.
I mean, you get lots of great acts with that mentality, like the chain smokers, you know? Love the chain smokers. What are those boys doing up to? You know?
I have no idea.
What are the chain smokers up to now? What Croatian nightclub are they at?
I imagine they're chain smoking somewhere.
Let's hope. Let's hope. Um, I think we've talked long in the tooth at this point. Do you have any messages for the kids out there?
My message for the kids out there is make some art. It doesn't have to be good, and it's actually maybe better if it's not. Just try to find joy in these awful moments because it sucks out there. Being trans sucks in a lot of ways, like I said. And there is a lot of wonder to be found and a lot of joy to be found. So keep looking for it and you will find it. That's my message.
Hell yeah. I advise the opposite. Don't make art if you're not good at it. I get it. Wait, you told me I think before also you said you had something about a raccoon story, something about a freaking raccoon.
Oh my
story.
God.
Give her the raccoon story.
All right. I'll try and make this quick. So essentially what happened was leading up to this birthday party, because Sherry wanted to have this birthday party in a pavilion in the middle of October, which is fine. That's very cool.
A public gazebo.
Yeah, this like park gazebo pavilion type thing, have an outdoorsy cook-off kind of thing. As
it was cute. It was really cute.
As winter rolls in, autumn leaves are coming in, everything like that. It was very nice, everything like that.
Miss sweaters, yeah.
After a hellish day before and day of prior, because the day before I was bringing my car back from like a mechanic and they didn't latch the hood on it, so the hood almost came up on me, and a sign flew off a truck and almost went through my windshield. I had a really
notoriously bad luck. I don't know if I said this.
Bad luck. And essentially we're trying to gather last minute resources and everything. Sherry accidentally collides into my ankle prior to this event. I'm sitting there, with a minor limp at this party, trying to get things set up and everything. We're having a great time. But we miscalculated because people were scrambling to bring resources. We forgot lanterns because it's autumn. Nighttime happens a lot earlier. So we forgot lights. So we ended up having to use like the car headlights and kind of like angle cars towards the pavilion and everything. So we managed to make it work and everything. We're having a good time. And we also forgot to calculate for wildlife. Because as we're in this pavilion and it's getting very dark and we only have the light of cars from one side, we're not realizing that there is a raccoon that is approaching from behind and trying to steal the snacks. And finally, someone notices the raccoon and says, hey, you got to get out of here, and just kind of noises, everything like that. You know what I mean? Kind of tries to scare this raccoon off. The raccoon came back like a dozen times to try and get this. And at this point, we're like, we got to wrap this up. We gotta get out of here. Like, this is.
He was just a member of the party. It was really cute.
I love to think the nefarious things these trannies are planning, and it's is that a fucking raccoon? It's actually no, the raccoons can't fucking away these.
We're just making hot dogs.
Their effect on our children. This fucking raccoon, this is.
Listen, raccoon, you can have some hot dogs later. Like, that was literally the entire conversation. Oh, what are they doing in that pavilion over there?
Yeah.
Anyway,
chubbiest raccoon I ever seen, by the way.
Adorable. Oh my God.
But yeah, he was socializing at that party more than I was. He was the star.
I think that's inherent to the project. It's like, what are these? I think that's also inherent to like the trying to. What do you mine for joy? And it's stuff like that.
Yeah.
What are the events that you mine for? And it's this small, stupid shit that's wonderful and that you share with other people at the time.
Mm-hmm. That's what it's all about.
It's what it's all about. What are you? Give me your plugs. Give me your ads.
At Sherry CD-Rom on TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky. You're gonna check out the album Beach Episode, which is out on Bandcamp, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, everywhere. I think you're really gonna enjoy it. There's some more GBA cards and DS cards coming up on the Bandcamp you can order. Restock is coming real soon, probably might be by the time this is out. So order one of those if you like unique listening experiences. And I hope you listen to it and enjoy it. What you got, babe?
What do I have?
Yeah. I know you got Blue Sky. You got social.
I do have Blue Sky, but it's not exactly a music Blue Sky.
That's fine. You're funny on it. You do things on it. You do, you do jokes.
I'm progesterone pizza on Blue Sky. I make dumb jokes on the internet. They're NSFW half the time. Other times it's me talking about my weird existence and things that happen in my life. Follow me if you want, or don't. Understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
It's up to you. We're not Nazis. We're not follow Nazis, you know.
You follow if you feel like it.
Yeah, no. All right. Thank you so much for coming on, Cherry Claire. Wonderful. Listen to Sherry CD-Rom. I wholeheartedly endorse it. And, you know, find joy. Find joy.
Please.
House of Decline is brought to you by members of our $10 Patreon tier. These include Fiat Lux, Jody Shen, Daniel Stern, Constantine Bristow, Stephen McKilney, Miles Forrester, Big Fan of Noise, Tor, Karibo Shu, Garf Dude, Liz Heckmayer, Jordan Rabe, Lily Livingston, Niraj Kumar, Grant Williams, Trunkles, Peter Rameen, Eze the Equid, Patrick Sullivan, Freya, Janelle, Shelby Stotts, Champ Champenstein, Scott Lynch, Danielle Crawford, Michael Shelton, Judy V, Winter Nungare, Claire Brown, Vivi Ingram, Mantra B, Bird, Colin McLeod, Jacob Swider, Dan Wasserman, Slam Dunk Cosmos, and Gavin Gaddis. Thank you for your contributions. You're all wonderful.